Surprise, motherfucker.
What's going on, you guys? Theo here with the big review, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and the time has finally arrived. It would appear as though Netmarble themselves have unofficially announced the upcoming collab that we will be receiving here in the very near future. We'll be getting into all that information and some reckless speculation in today's video, but before we do, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. I had intended on today's video being a video I took an extra 24 hours to put together in editing because it is a fairly intensive guide. However, Netmarble decided that late last night they were going to put out this tweet and completely destroy my schedule and my best laid plans, so rip me. But anyway, guys, this is the tweet that we got last night from Netmarble's official KoF Allstar Twitter account, and as you can see here, it doesn't give a lot of information, but what it does give us is very exciting. As you can tell from the photo, there are going to be what it looks to be 8 new characters added in with this collab. Now, the plot definitely does thicken here, and things begin to get a little bit more bizarre, which we'll talk about. But as far as what we can tell from on the surface here with this tweet, it would appear as though we'll be getting 8 new characters with this collaboration. My assumption would be, as a result of this, considering the fact that it's a lot of characters for a collab, that this is probably going to be a rerun of some sort. I have a hard time believing that they would be releasing 8 entirely new characters in one collab. It's possible, but I think it's highly unlikely and more likely that we would be getting a rerun, and we'll talk about which ones that we feel like are going to have the best shot at being a rerun. But just from a work standpoint, from a coding standpoint, I really don't think that we can expect 8 entirely new characters to be added in. That would be a lot even by Netmarble's standards with any of the previous collaborations we've seen. And we did see with the Gintama rerun that there were a ton of characters in that collaboration, but they just reused assets from the original run. So the way that this kind of spins out into orbit, though, and gets a little bit stranger is this tweet here. Now, this is from the King of Fighters All-Star JP Twitter, and what you can see here is a completely different photo from what we saw in the global version of the tweet. So this one is actually going to have 2 fewer character cards listed on the JPEG, so it makes me wonder, are they messing with us? Because it's very strange. Typically, whenever we see these tweets go out, they're very uniform. Usually, the only differences you see are going to be in the language and maybe, as a result, a little bit of the wording. But to have 2 completely different photos used in the same tweet is very strange, especially considering the fact that usually, if you're going to be getting something like this, it's at least going to be uniform as far as the amount of characters that are going to be listed. And here we are seeing 2 fewer, so I have a hard time believing that we're going to be getting 2 separate collabs depending on what region we're in or what version of the game we're on. So that's out of the window. I don't believe that could be a possibility. So maybe this is a mistake. I have a hard time believing that. So I get the feeling that they're really just trying to mess with people. I think that they know that everybody's been waiting on bated breath for a collaboration event. And with the live stream coming up on Friday on the Korean side, I think that they're just trying to build hype. But as far as what I feel like could be going on here, I do, as I mentioned, think that we are going to be getting a rerun. And the 2 collaborations that we previously had that make the most sense for a rerun would be the Tekken 7 collaboration or the Samurai Showdown collaboration. And we'll get into both of them here, but with Tekken, I don't think it needs any introduction. Everybody's been waiting for this one to get rerun. This was the first collaboration that we had on the global side. It came out within the first couple of months of the game going live in global. And since then, those people that have downloaded the game since after that update have been begging, clamoring for this to return, and I do think that there is a high potential for this one to be the case, especially considering the fact that the Korean live stream as of now is predicated upon Nee, who, for those of you who aren't aware, Nee has been in pretty much all the Korean live streams, or at least most of them, and he is a very well-known Tekken fighter for their tournament scene in Japan. So I really do feel like there's that potential there, and this would make a lot of people happy. It would make me happy too, because it would mean that I already have a lot of this stuff, so I can save maybe potentially some rubies. Now, of course, we do expect them to probably add in new characters as well as buffing the old ones, but that one has a really high likelihood, I feel. The other one that would make a whole lot of sense would be Samurai Showdown, and Samurai Showdown is a collaboration that we had last year that was very popular at the time. However, the characters have not necessarily aged the best, considering the fact that it was one of those collaborations that lacked Fest characters. Now, of course, you could mention Nakaruru, but Nakaruru wasn't really a collaboration fighter for this collab. She was more so just a Fest that was added in later on into the life cycle of the collab, and even though she kind of fit the theme and is a Samurai Showdown character, she was not a collab character proper. So either way they decide to go with this would be great, especially considering the fact that there are 8 characters listed. That would leave them room to add in a few new ones, probably Fest characters for whatever rerun they do, because neither of those collabs had traditional Fest characters in them, meaning they didn't have purple border characters in either of those. So if it were Samurai Showdown, it would make sense as well, in the capacity that, being that Samurai Showdown is an SNK property, it would be an easy one for Netmarble to implement. It would probably be a cheap one for them to implement. And anytime you're talking about reusing assets, typically it is going to be something to where it is a lot easier for the coding side of things to kind of go in and reuse those things and add things to them, and definitely buff some of these characters that need it. So really, we do expect all of this information to come to light on the Korean live stream on Friday. For those of you who missed the details on that, as you can see here, March 26th, which is this upcoming Friday, there will be a Korean live stream. It will be live, unlike the previous live stream ago, where it was pre-recorded. So it ought to be pretty interesting. Now, there are very little details as of right now beyond what we've talked about already, so anything from here forward is pretty much going to be wild speculation, unless Netmarble decides that they're going to make a game out of all of us and just start teasing all of us throughout the week, which I do think they should probably consider putting out small kind of breadcrumbs and trying to kind of get people talking even more, because this is when they have the most amount of eyes on the product. This is really where the hype is at a boiling point. So it would make all the sense in the world from a marketing standpoint for them to mess with us and to try and kind of give us little tips and little hints at what could be going on in the days leading up to this live stream. We still have no word on the next global live stream, although if my theory is correct, and I talked about this in Saturday's video, it could be that we get an announcement for a global live stream later on this week that would happen next week, in preparation for whatever this collaboration is that could be dropping around Wednesday or Thursday of next week. So anyway, guys, what say you? I know everybody's very excited for this. This is the news everybody's been waiting for. So let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. You all take care. Peace.
Game over.